Imagine this scenario. You're standing on one leg, eyes closed, while simultaneously solving complex mathematical equations in your head. Sounds impossible? Welcome to the fascinating world of neuroathletics, a groundbreaking training methodology that's revolutionizing how we understand the connection between our brain and body. For decades, we've approached physical fitness and mental training as two separate entities. We hit the gym to strengthen our muscles, and we do crossword puzzles or brain games to sharpen our minds. But what if I told you that this separation is not only outdated, but actually counterproductive? What if the secret to peak performance, whether you are an elite athlete, a busy professional, or someone simply wanting to optimize their daily life, lies in training these two systems together, simultaneously and synergistically? Neuroathletics represents a paradigm shift in human performance optimization. It's based on a simple yet profound principle. Your brain and body are not separate systems operating independently, but rather interconnected networks that constantly communicate and influence each other. Every movement you make is orchestrated by your nervous system, and every thought you think has the potential to affect your physical performance. Consider this remarkable fact. Your brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each forming thousands of connections with other neurons. This creates a network so complex that it makes the internet look like a simple children's toy. But here's what's truly extraordinary. This neural network doesn't stop at your skull. It extends throughout your entire body via your spinal cord and peripheral nervous system, creating what scientists now call the embodied brain. When we engage in traditional exercise, we're primarily focusing on the muscular and cardiovascular systems. When we do mental exercises, we're typically engaging only specific cognitive regions. But neuroathletics takes a radically different approach. It deliberately challenges multiple neural pathways simultaneously, forcing your brain to create new connections, strengthen existing ones, and develop what neuroscientists call neuroplasticity at an accelerated rate. Think about a professional tennis player returning a serve, traveling at 130 miles per hour. In the fraction of a second between the ball leaving their opponent's racket and making contact with their own, their brain must process visual information, calculate trajectory and speed, coordinate complex motor patterns, maintain balance, and make split-second strategic decisions. This isn't just physical training or mental training. It's neuroathletic training at its finest. But neuroathletics isn't reserved for elite athletes. In fact, some of the most compelling applications are found in everyday scenarios. Imagine being able to improve your memory while simultaneously enhancing your balance and coordination. Picture developing laser-sharp focus while building functional strength. Envision training your brain's processing speed while improving your reaction time and agility. The science behind neuroathletics draws from multiple disciplines: neuroscience, exercise physiology, cognitive psychology, and motor learning theory. Research has shown that when we challenge our nervous system with complex, multidimensional tasks, we trigger the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called miracle grow for the brain. This powerful protein promotes the growth of new neural connections and protects existing ones from degradation. What makes neuroathletics particularly exciting is its practical applicability across all age groups and fitness levels. Whether you're a weekend warrior looking to prevent injuries, a student seeking to enhance learning capacity, a professional aiming to improve decision-making under pressure, or an older adult wanting to maintain cognitive sharpness and physical independence, neuroathletic principles can be adapted to meet your specific needs and goals. Throughout this educational journey, we'll explore the fundamental principles that govern brain-body integration, discover specific training protocols that you can implement immediately, and uncover the latest scientific research that's reshaping our understanding of human potential. We'll delve into practical exercises that challenge your visual system, vestibular system, and proprioceptive awareness while simultaneously engaging cognitive functions like attention, memory, and executive control. Prepare to challenge everything you thought you knew about training, performance, and the incredible capabilities of your integrated nervous system. The revolution in neuroathletics isn't coming. It's here, and it's time for you to become part of it. Now that we've opened the door to this revolutionary approach, let's dive deep into the fascinating science that makes neuroathletics not just possible, but incredibly effective. To truly understand how we can train our brain and body simultaneously, we need to explore the remarkable mechanisms happening inside your nervous system right now. As you listen to these very words, picture your nervous system as the world's most sophisticated highway network. Traditional training approaches are like using only the main highways, while leaving countless smaller roads and interconnecting bridges unused. Neuroathletics, however, activates the entire transportation system simultaneously, creating what neuroscientists call cross-modal plasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and strengthen connections between different sensory and motor regions. When you perform a simple task like walking, your brain coordinates an astounding symphony of neural activity. Your visual cortex processes environmental information, your vestibular system maintains balance and spatial orientation. Your proprioceptive sensors provide feedback about body position, and your motor cortex orchestrates precise muscle contractions. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. These systems don't just work independently, they constantly share information and adapt based on each other's input. Dr. Michael Merzenich, often called the father of neuroplasticity, discovered that our brains remain remarkably changeable throughout our entire lives. His groundbreaking research revealed that when we challenge multiple neural systems simultaneously, we trigger what's known as competitive plasticity. This means that neural pathways literally compete for brain real estate, and the most frequently used, most challenged pathways become stronger and more efficient. Consider this remarkable study from the University of British Columbia. Researchers found that participants who engaged in complex coordinative exercises while solving cognitive tasks showed a 23% increase in brain-derived neurotrophic factor levels compared to those doing traditional exercise alone. Even more impressive, brain imaging revealed increased connectivity between the prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive function, and the cerebellum, which governs movement coordination and balance. But what exactly happens in your brain during neuroathletic training? Let's break down this incredible process step by step. When you challenge your balance while simultaneously engaging in cognitive tasks, your brain must rapidly switch between what neuroscientists call automatic and controlled processing modes. This constant switching strengthens the anterior cingulate cortex, a brain region crucial for attention control and conflict monitoring. Meanwhile, your cerebellum, traditionally thought of as just the movement brain, reveals its hidden talents. Recent research has shown that the cerebellum contains more neurons than the rest of the brain, combined, and plays a crucial role in cognitive functions including working memory, language processing, and even emotional regulation. When we integrate physical challenges with mental tasks, we're essentially giving this neural powerhouse the complex workout it was designed for. The magic happens through a process called neural binding. When multiple brain regions are activated simultaneously, they begin to fire in synchronized patterns, creating stronger and more efficient neural networks. It's like having different sections of an orchestra learn to play together in perfect harmony. The result is far more powerful than any individual section playing alone. This integration creates what researchers term cognitive reserve, your brain's resilience against age-related decline and its ability to maintain performance under stress. Studies following participants over decades have shown that those who regularly engage in complex multimodal activities maintain sharper cognitive function and demonstrate greater resistance to neurodegenerative diseases. Perhaps most exciting is the discovery of transfer effects. Unlike traditional brain training games that typically improve only the specific skill being practiced, neuroathletic training creates broad improvements that transfer to real-world activities. Enhanced balance training combined with cognitive challenges doesn't just improve balance and cognition separately. It improves your ability to think clearly while moving, react quickly under pressure, and maintain focus in dynamic environments. The implications extend far beyond athletic performance. Emergency room physicians who practice neuroathletic protocols show improved decision-making accuracy during high-stress situations. Students demonstrate enhanced learning retention when study sessions incorporate movement-based activities. Older adults maintain independence longer when their exercise routines include cognitive challenges. This scientific foundation isn't just theoretical, it's the bedrock upon which we'll build practical, immediately applicable training strategies. Understanding these mechanisms empowers you to approach your own development with precision and purpose, knowing that every challenging, multi-dimensional exercise is literally reshaping your brain for optimal performance. Now that we understand the remarkable science powering neural integration, let's translate this knowledge into actionable principles that will transform how you approach training forever. The beauty of neuroathletics lies not just in its scientific foundation, but in how elegantly these complex mechanisms can be harnessed through surprisingly accessible methods. The first fundamental principle is what we call progressive complexity integration. Unlike traditional progressive overload that simply adds weight or repetitions, neuroathletic progression involves systematically layering challenges across multiple neural systems. Think of it as conducting an increasingly sophisticated orchestra. You start with simple melodies and gradually introduce new instruments, complex harmonies, and intricate timing patterns. For example, you might begin with basic balance exercises while counting backwards from 100. Once this becomes comfortable, you add visual tracking by following a moving target. Next, you introduce unpredictable auditory cues that require specific responses. Each layer doesn't just make the exercise harder, it recruits entirely new neural networks and forces unprecedented levels of intersystem communication. The second principle is sensory system rotation and integration. Your brain has multiple sensory highways: visual, auditory, vestibular, proprioceptive, and tactile. Traditional training often relies heavily on vision and proprioception while neglecting the others. Neuroathletics systematically challenges and then integrates all sensory modalities. Consider how differently your brain must work when you perform squats with eyes closed versus eyes open. Remove vision, and suddenly your vestibular system and proprioceptive sensors must work overtime to maintain balance and proper form. Add unexpected sounds that require responses, and your auditory processing centers join the neural party. Introduce textured surfaces under your feet, and tactile processing networks activate. This isn't just variety for variety's sake. Each sensory challenge creates unique neural adaptations that compound and reinforce each other. The third principle involves cognitive load variability. Your brain operates most efficiently when it can predict and automate responses. Neuroathletics deliberately disrupts this comfort zone by introducing unpredictable cognitive demands during physical tasks. This forces your brain to maintain what neuroscientists call cognitive flexibility, the ability to rapidly switch between different mental tasks and adapt to changing rules. This might involve solving math problems while performing agility drills, but the cognitive challenges can be far more sophisticated. Memory recall tasks during endurance activities, pattern recognition during strength training, or decision-making scenarios during balance challenges all create different types of cognitive load that target specific neural networks. The fourth principle is temporal synchronization training. Your brain is exquisitely sensitive to timing and rhythm. Research shows that activities requiring precise temporal coordination, matching movements to beats, responding to specific timing cues, or coordinating complex sequences, strengthen neural networks responsible for attention, working memory, and executive control. This principle explains why activities like martial arts, dance, and music have such profound cognitive benefits. They demand split-second timing decisions while maintaining complex movement patterns. In neuroathletics, we extract and amplify these timing elements, creating exercises that might involve responding to metronome beats while performing functional movements or coordinating breathing patterns with specific movement sequences and cognitive tasks. The fifth, and perhaps most crucial principle, is adaptive challenge calibration. Your brain adapts remarkably quickly to repeated stimuli, which means yesterday's challenging exercise becomes today's automated routine. Neuroathletic training requires constant recalibration to maintain what researchers call the optimal challenge zone. Difficult enough to promote adaptation, but not so overwhelming that performance degrades. This principle demands a sophisticated understanding of how different variables interact. Increasing physical complexity might require temporarily reducing cognitive demands. Adding new sensory challenges might mean simplifying movement patterns initially. The art lies in finding the sweet spot where multiple systems are challenged simultaneously without overwhelming any single system. These principles work synergistically, creating training experiences that are far more than the sum of their parts. When properly applied, they generate what we call neural cascade effects. Improvements in one area automatically enhance performance in seemingly unrelated domains. Better balance leads to improved attention span. Enhanced cognitive flexibility results in more fluid movement patterns. Stronger sensory integration creates better stress resilience. Understanding these principles empowers you to approach any physical activity through a neuroathletic lens. Whether you're a weekend warrior looking to enhance your tennis game, a student seeking better focus and learning capacity, or someone simply wanting to age gracefully with sharp cognitive function, these principles provide the roadmap for transformation. The next step in our journey involves seeing these principles come alive through specific, practical applications that you can begin implementing immediately.